might want to grab that one. That's right there.
Is the side mic on?
Hello.
Do you have a little red button?
I do on the.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and start again. I'll just start by introducing myself. My name is Malcolm Williams. I'm from Ward 6. I'm chairing the meeting today. It's Tuesday, December 10th, about 6:40 p.m. We have a new board member as well. If
Hi.
you wanted to just give your name real quick.
Yeah, I'm Bobby Kittner, and I'm a business owner, and I live in Ward 3, and I have a business in Ward 1, so I'm covered.
Great. Well,
All over the place. Yeah.
well, welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Thanks.
And I guess we'll just officially call this meeting to order. Do I got to gavel it? Okay, it's there. So use it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move to the next motion, which is item number 2 on our minutes for today, is to adopt last month's minutes. I don't see anything that I wanted to modify or change. Lorraine, I don't know if you...
No, it looks fine.
Yeah. Last month was pretty straightforward. I think the only thing we had was this letter for for the hop.
Yes, and we have the video of the meeting available online.
Right. Okay. So if we're all in agreement with that, we'll go ahead and vote to approve. All in favor? Yay.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Or approved. Next item is item number 3 for public comments and project reviews. We have, I'm sorry, I forgot your name already.
Monica,
Monica here, representing
Bank of America.
Bank of America. They have some proposed signage that they want to change at the existing facility, as well as I see some ramps and a change to the entry door as well. Did you want to kind of elaborate on those for us and kind of give us your perspective on it, or I mean the business's perspective on it? And
The only changes we were proposing was the signage, the 2
Oh,
wall
okay.
signs.
okay.
I do have a question, because when I look at what's submitted, it says a new bronze-clad door
Yeah.
with side lights, existing transom above to remain. So it looks like this proposal is proposing to remove the original doors.
I didn't submit those drawings. Those photos that you guys.
Monica, are you with Curly Signs?
Yeah, I'm with Curly Signs.
Okay, so you're only here to talk about the
Yes,
signs?
just the 2.
So you're
main
not
signs.
here to talk about anything that says little on it?
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe I have the wrong piece of the packet then. Do you want to just go ahead and present what you're?
Yes. Right now, there's 2 existing signs, these sets of channel letters.
Right.
And we wanted to remove them, and because the bank is rebranding, they would like to install these new set of channel letters with the white cabinet. And they will actually be a little bit smaller than what's existing.
And those are the drawings we received by email. So
Yes.
we have seen that.
Hey, Lucy.
Hello, sorry, and the red line
Hi.
struck. I apologize for being late, but
Don't worry.
yeah, this wasn't looking familiar to me. So thank you for clarifying.
So I just have a question for
Yes.
you. The existing signage, do you know how big the lettering is right now?
Yes, there are 2 different sizes. The bigger sign is currently at 25 feet long by 3 feet wide. And
And that's on you're calling it the front of the building, even though it's the side of the building on the,
yeah, the
on the,
sides.
right,
Yeah,
okay.
it's not the elevation with the entry to the
Okay.
bank. And the other sign is 19.15 feet in length and 2.28 feet in width.
Okay. Do you know how big those letters are, though? Do you know how many inches they are?
Yes.
It doesn't say.
No, it doesn't. No.
the reason why I ask is, I don't know if I can go ahead and ask this, but these are going to be lit from behind the letters,
Yes.
and on your current design, it says that they're 6 inches tall. So my concern is that there's a lot of white behind these letters.
Right.
The white isn't lighting, just the letters.
Just
Is
the
that-
letters.
Yeah, just the
Okay.
letters.
I think I have a problem with backlit signs in general. I don't know how the rest of us feel, but the current sign is not backlit, correct? It isn't lit.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think the concern is because of the neighborhood that's there, and we don't want a lot of light pollution
Right.
in that area. And that is like a big, bright,
Well,
white kind of
it's-
sign if it is.
It's also an outstanding resource in the historic district. And I know for many, many years, we've tried to get some more subdued, kind of lovely signage here. Roz, remember all the efforts? And I'm not sure this is it, to be honest, and I'm concerned about it being backlit as well. And I don't know how others,
Well, I mean, I understand why they want to backlight it, because they want it to stand out at night. Can we control the color temperature of the light? You have it spec'd out as LED light.
Mm-hmm.
An LED light can be wildly bright and scary looking, or you can have a different color temperature to it.
I believe we can control the color temperature of the LED lights.
Yeah,
Is the-
yeah.
is the current sign a lit sign?
Yes, it's, I believe it's internally illuminated. Yes.
But it's just the individual letters that are lit.
Yes.
And
And
so the new proposal is the white box would be lit?
no, just
letters,
the individual letters.
And then they would have the white backing.
Yes. Right here it shows the LED lights will be placed in the letters, so only the letters will be lit.
I do think the white background in general is an improvement in the vein of aligning the signage to the form of the building. That it aligns with the architectural moves rather than the existing sign with the cutout. But I can see your point, Lorraine, about, it is still a far cry from what would have originally been there, but it's definitely an improvement of what is there now.
Yeah.
So you said that Bank of America is just trying to improve basically their signage on the outside of their properties. Do you think
Yes.
that they're gonna move to the front as well eventually, or there's just gonna be this one single sign on the side?
There's 2 signs on the side, on each side.
So they have no intention of putting a sign on the front of the building?
No.
Okay. Do you know what is under, because I walked
Do you
by
wanna
there
know what's under
today.
it?
Yeah, what is
Well,
under it?
I'm glad you asked that. That was the Takoma Park Bank building, and it was built in the early 20s, if not the teens.
Huh.
It's a Beaux-Arts building. It's really our only Beaux-Arts building, and it's an outstanding resource. And the word Takoma is still shown, so what you see here
Okay.
is not really accurate. It's all blocked. The name appears to be all blocked out, but right now, the word Takoma is visible, and I want to make sure that stays visible. Are you involved with, that's a question I have, when I look at this front picture here, it shows it all the way. The name is totally hidden, the original name, which is built into the building, which is Takoma Park Bank.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's being implied that that's going to be entirely covered up or not. Do you know?
Is that?
The
Sorry,
word
can I see
Tacoma
that?
is, I've photographed, but if you go and look at it today, the word Tacoma is the one word that still shows that wasn't covered up.
Right.
Is that going to stay that way.
That's going to stay. We're not doing anything.
You're not touching
Mm-mm.
anything on that.
We just want to remove the existing channel
Frankly,
letters.
I'd like to see the old name come forward.
Through.
If we,
Right.
it's our history, and
Mhm.
it's part of the building, it's built into the building, and that would be something maybe to talk to Bank of America about, but, okay, that was something that puzzled me, and that you answered it. You're definitely not doing that.
No, we're not touching that.
I don't know, Lucy, can you think of another way this might look a little better? That we might suggest?
I mean, I think if you were really to go with something that was more, like historically compatible, you would be talking about, it would be I think it would have to be a complete change. Like you'd be looking at materials that would align with what was original. But I don't know, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that's the direction we should go, but if you were to go with something that could get us there, it would
Yeah.
be, you know, you'd look at some kind of metal and a color palette that is closer to what would have been in the mix originally. But I mean, it's a building that has been renovated already, so I don't know how much. I mean, I honestly think your point about like the original signage and that kind of thing might, like,
Yeah,
in some ways, and a separate review, because it's not part of what this sign
right.
application
No,
is
I just
about,
want to see if
that
there's a way we
could be
make-
more
we
valuable
make
than like the
this-
sign itself. I don't know.
Could we
kind of
make,
two
could we
minds.
think of a way to make this look a little bit better? But that was my only suggestion.
So Monica, is this their logo? Is this their new logo with the red border around it on the
Yes.
white? Okay,
Mhm.
so that's their
And
logo.
all the letters are uppercase now.
Right, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I'm just on my phone
Yeah.
looking at some of the exterior signage that they have on in Google Images.
Mhm.
So this is what they're gonna be placing on all their buildings, pretty
Yeah, so
much.
all of their
But I would guess
locations.
that they have a
Like an alternate.
like a metal version. I mean, I would guess that
Well,
in
they
some
have-
places they would not use their block
Right.
color backlit. Like they're going to be settings where they would have something that's
gonna be
but it'd be a
placed-
completely different palette. So it depends on how much we want to press for that kind of change and see it as within our purview. I mean, I think it's an improvement of what's there, so I think that's worth considering.
I think it's an improvement. I agree, Lucy,
Yeah.
it's an improvement with what's there. It's an outstanding resource. It's our only Beaux-Arts building. I'd like to see Bank of America. I'm sure that they, in areas where they have historic buildings and other places where it's insisted upon, they do, look at maybe other ways of doing it. Given the community has always been asking for this, I hate to lose that. I mean, I do think it's an improvement. I simply do. But I'd like to see it a little better if we possibly could. And we don't have a person here. We'd need a bank person here to really.
I know
Talk
it's
to
not.
the
You've been given
I
a
know.
you've been
I'm
given a
just a
scope for your
dramatist
sign, and
guide.
Right.
Right.
Now, tell me, is there an option, because you mentioned it, and you kind of jogged my memory here, where there can be like chrome signage with the rear, the back of it kind of illuminated, so it sort of highlights the lettering, but it's still sort of subdued. Is that something that's an option that you guys offer?
I'm sure we could.
Okay.
I'm
So it's
personally, I'm
something
not.
that's off
I mean,
the
I think if
table.
you were going for something that was like I don't know, like a extruded metal kind of sign, you would then do some kind of like illumination. You would
Right.
Yeah.
you would illuminate it as opposed to backlighting it. Again, all this is beyond what your scope
Yeah.
was, but I think it would, in some ways, it would be asking for a completely different approach. I don't think it's just a matter of like. And I think your question about the light level is worth flagging. I think we can either go two ways. We can put in some qualifiers for what we'd like to see for this sign, or we can outline what we would prefer and just let the county staff know that that's.
I just
Our
think the
direction.
light would be the most important thing because it's right in front of a street lamp. So, I mean, it's behind a street lamp, so I wouldn't want it to supersede the street lamp at night. I mean, I just, I think we want to have that look,
Yeah.
So that was the only thing. I walked by today. I guess the thing that drove me crazy about the building today was that they've hidden lettering on the front, and I was trying to see what it was, and that has nothing to do with your application tonight, but it did kind of befuddle me. Like, what was, I mean, it was the first time I ever noticed it, and I've lived here for a long time.
Takoma Park
Yeah,
Bank
yeah,
is what it
Yeah.
says. Yeah.
yeah.
I would like to see it restored. The buildings like this signage was often built right into the building.
Right.
So I don't think I've seen Beaux-Arts buildings with metal signs.
But I think that would be, I think something where you were looking to, say, like the window construction for a similar palette to pull off of, like a bronze kind of thing. Bronze would be contemporary to that architecture. I think that's the
Right.
kind of thing
And
you
it'll match
could
the
ask
new
for.
doors,
I'm not saying that it would be
Yeah.
the original design, because you're exactly right, that it was built into the building, but,
Right.
but I guess, so it seems like we have one of two choices. Do we make recommendations along the line of a completely different but more historically aligned approach, or do we make recommendations based on this backlit, branded, and then we just provide qualifying thoughts, like the light level or the light color?
I think it's their logo. I
Yeah.
mean, making them change their logo, is kind of weird.
Well, they wouldn't be changing their logo, they'd be doing it in a solid, like, I'm sure they
Yeah.
have a monochrome version of it.
monochrome
And I'm not,
version,
again, I'm not saying
right.
that's definitely where we need to go. I think,
Right.
I'm almost certain if they put this, Lorraine, to your point, in a historic district that was insisted, in Georgetown, thank you, yes, that's always our go-to.
Right.
I am almost certain that is not what they would
That is
do. Which,
right.
I mean, we're not Georgetown, and there's value to not being Georgetown,
No,
it
but
is a more
we-
eclectic
but
place that we
We
have.
are a beautiful historic community, and yes, I mean, I would love them to give it a little more thought as to what could go there. I also have lots of questions for the architect who is not here, and I wonder how.
But I
how
think
is-
these are two separate,
how
yeah,
is
I
that-
guess
are they gonna
clarification on
come
what this is would
later?
help.
I
to
don't know that, I will double check. but-
Because there are issues here with what's being proposed.
So for tonight, we're just
Yeah.
talking about the signage.
Okay,
And I had actually thought that it was gonna be the whole.
Aha, okay.
discussion, But they're not here for that.
Okay, so you'll find out
so
what
they're
the
not
timeline is of
submitting
this.
yet.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I agree with you, Lorraine, this is opens up a whole nother series of issues that we should talk about, but
Yeah.
let's table that till we
Right.
have the right
So this is not
audience.
this is not being scheduled yet, Roz, is what you're saying? They're not ready to schedule?
I think they are moving forward with the sign. I don't know, I can't remember now if they're already on.
Can you
and what is
clarify?
the agenda.
Would you clarify that? Because the architectural issues here are important, and there's some big issues here.
I will,
And we may need to meet with them again before the hearing,
I will
or,
check that tomorrow and circulate a memo to the.
yeah.
for an email.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I don't think we can, have a cohesive, response for Bank of America, because they're doing a lot, and the only thing that we can kind of address today, because you're here, is the sign. But, I mean, the ramps and all that stuff, and the doors, I think also need some sort of input, so that we can kind of get a definitive answer for everything and move forward.
I'd like to see pictures of what they've done in other communities that have insisted on, a little more individuality. I would just really like, I'm sure they have examples of things that they've done. It
Yeah.
would be very nice
I'm
to
sure they
see
do.
that.
Yeah, they're pretty big. Have you done other signage for them, for other buildings?
Yes.
And have you ever done a monochrome version of their logo?
I don't think so. All the ones that I've permitted look like this.
They look like that,
Mhm.
okay.
Have you done any buildings in Georgetown, or?
Yes, I actually have one that was just approved in Georgetown.
Does it look like this?
It does not have the cabinet, it's just the letters.
Right.
Yeah, that's what
Same.
got approved in Georgetown.
Okay, well, that might be even,
So it only has, it doesn't have the white background?
Right.
Right, okay, yeah.
is that something we'd want to see a picture of?
I would. I was trying
Sure.
to find examples online. I couldn't find anything, but yeah. Is this something that Bank of America just kind of threw out there and said, make it happen, or was there some sort of planning that went into it with some of the folks that work there at the bank as well?
I'm not sure. I'm with the sign company that's just installing it.
Okay.
And then we're working for the sign company that's making it.
Okay, so
And
you
they're
just
the
got
ones
the-
that are in contact with Bank of America. We don't.
Right.
Gotcha.
So any comments I get, I would have to talk to the other sign company
Okay.
who then talks to the bank. So I'm not
Okay.
sure. I'm sorry.
There may be some other examples of Bank of America signs that they could show us that they've used on outstanding historic resources,
Okay.
which is what this is.
Mhm.
So if you could help us find something like that, that would be great, or,
Okay. Did
yeah.
you want me to just send it by email? And-
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
You can
that'd be
send it to
great.
me.
Okay.
I'll give you
Yeah.
my card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what, I guess if you could outline what we,
So the
need
options
to do.
for tonight are if the board wants to do a resolution, or, to pass a motion giving your feedback on the sign to the Historic Preservation Commission. So you can approve it with conditions, you can disapprove it and explain what you want to see instead or what you would like, or you could choose not to weigh in. Those are your options.
I mean, I think it is an improvement, but at the same time, I don't feel like we should approve. I feel like I don't want to approve it with conditions. I kind of want to disapprove. And have them go back to the drawing board and maybe get something a little more fitting for this, because that's a stately looking building. I think I need something a little more
Yeah.
respectable.
Okay.
It's
for
our
it
only
as well.
Beaux-Arts
Yeah.
architecture. It's remarkable we have it, actually, so.
You know,
Monica-
and since you're doing the signage, I'm not sure if you can already start kind of spitballing about what kind of signs will work up there, since that's, I mean, your area of expertise, like what will work best in that kind of building. You can kind of help us pitch that back to them.
I
Yeah.
apply for the permit, so I'm not really that much of an expert on the sign design.
Do you know if it's already scheduled at the Montgomery County Historic
Yes,
Preservation
for the
Commission
18th next week.
For next week?
It's on
Okay.
for next week?
the
Yes.
sign, is that just,
Just the
okay.
signs?
Just
but-
the
But not
signs.
the door,
Right, I don't know
Yeah.
what,
Or the
anything about the
any
doors. I
of
just
the
applied for the sign.
railing or doors or.
But we'll
And-
find out about that, so.
Right,
Yeah.
but so if the sign is going to HPC next week, does the board want to weigh in on the specifics presented tonight to push it the direction you'd like to see it go?
Yeah, I mean, why not? That's why we're here.
Mhm.
Right.
And the staff still has a
We
review of
should-
it, so it's a whole nother conversation, but, so it sounds like am I correct that we're leaning towards disapproving, and we can outline,
Absolutely.
what we'd like to see instead?
Yes.
So do we need to
Well, we
motion
wanna
that,
see
and then
some
we can
better
outline what goes in the
examples.
letter?
Yep.
Yeah,
So I motion to not approve, and we'll outline
Okay.
what we would like to see instead. Does someone need to,
We can do the
Do you wanna outline it?
conditions now and do it
okay,
as one
and then we
vote.
can do a second and vote, okay.
and Roz, I want to be really sure that the door and, other aspects of this are not included. Can you check that?
I will check it tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be great.
It's not on their application. I mean,
Well,
I have,
It's just the signage, isn't it?
it's just the signage. That was all.
Well, it's, yeah, but it
Description of
was with the
work.
thing that they
completely wrong thing?
submitted.
It doesn't have the
With
signage
this
at all in
plan.
there.
Yeah,
And it doesn't have a date.
any
You
of
know
the
what?
signage though. It's
I think
just-
this is, I'm sorry.
You just
I
need to be-
circulated old material. The
Oh,
date on
interesting.
this is
Okay.
2011. So I had emailed to you all the signage, the HOP
Right.
application
Yeah.
itself and the
Yeah,
signage.
what,
Existing conditions photos.
Right.
So disregard what I handed out tonight, and
This
I'm
is not
sorry for you
Okay.
because it
Yeah, I was
complicates
a little
your
confused.
presentation. But,
Okay.
okay, so just to confirm, this is not active,
Not-
it's old.
Not applicable, and I will confirm tomorrow.
Okay.
But the HOP that Monica's discussing is the signage, and that is what's on the
Right.
HPC commission for next week.
Okay.
And that is what we got by email, so, I mean,
And
we
it is-
have,
yeah.
right, we have it, okay,
So
thank you.
my apologies all around.
No problem.
Okay. I'm relieved, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry for that.
No, it's
I
okay. So
was
you
in a
think this
rush
might be
this
an
afternoon.
old proposal?
I
So it's
think
already
this
been
is
done.
when they did the ramp and all that stuff.
Okay, so it's
Oh,
already
well,
there.
this never
So
happened
some
then.
version of it's already there, but I think it was modified at the time, so.
I see.
So,
Okay,
I see.
anyway, I am very sorry.
All right.
it's all right.
I guess it begs the question, so it's just one sign that you guys are doing, because I'm seeing this picture now on the west side of the building.
You're doing two signs.
They're
There's
doing
two
both the
signs.
signs.
Right.
Okay.
So not, neither, like, no sign on Carroll, but on either short end, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
that I-
Yeah.
following, okay.
And
Um,
they're both gonna be the same.
They'll look the same, but they'll be slightly different in size.
Okay. Yeah, nah,
Right.
I disapprove.
Okay, so that holds, and
Let's talk about.
what we'd like to see,
Right.
does anyone,
Well,
What we
I
would like to
initially,
see, the condition?
yeah,
Okay.
I initially was saying have something a little more monochromatic, and I'm thinking something that could be a little backlit, where it kind of outlines.
so we're comfortable
shape.
with some amount of lighting,
Yeah,
like, that's
so
not
it'd
that
have to stand
concern.
out somehow.
So the monochrome, and I guess I'd add a, like, historically appropriate material to the original construction.
Right.
They can choose it. I mean, I don't feel strongly about the metal idea that I threw out, but something that relates to the,
Maybe another
Historic material of the building.
style or,
Yeah.
Well,
I'd like
the
to see
style is-
examples. I'd like to see examples of what they've done elsewhere.
Okay.
I mean, that's, and not maybe even in here, it could be other states. Or
Mhm.
what have they done when they've had to confront a historic building?
how do they
Yeah.
modify, like, what
How
food
do
in their
they
brand
modify?
package that, yeah.
How do they
must-
respect that building
Mhm.
with the signage, and I'm sure we're gonna find some examples of that. It's-
I would guess so.
It's hard to imagine that they would not do that.
Because over
Okay.
time, that white is just gonna get really dingy, and with the weather and all that stuff, it's just gonna get kind of beat up. We need something that's gonna be a little more.
I think it's gonna look like a beacon because the light is gonna bounce off of the white.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Yeah.
Right.
it's almost gonna look neon-like, which is, appropriate for
Right.
our downtown, but I don't know. But I
So-
do have a question for you, Monica. Is the little logo, is the logo mark going to be backlit as well, or is it just the letters, Bank of America?
The whole thing will be lit.
Okay, so it's channel lighting, right?
Yes.
So okay, all right. So that's kind of good that it's channel lighting, yeah.
Would it be far-fetched to ask them to maybe reveal that, the Takoma Park piece on the front that was covered up? Or is that something that,
We can put it in the letter. I
irrational?
mean, I understand it's not part of your scope,
Yeah.
but why not? We can certainly include in the
To
letter.
reveal the Tacoma Park Bank
Mhm.
writing.
I think that would be a vast improvement because right now they have that
It's a beautiful.
really weird, I walked by it today and it was the first time I paid attention to the building, but
It's a
it looked
great
like we
building.
were hiding something.
Mhm.
Yeah, you'll notice a lot of that being on this board.
And it's
You'll
clear
go around
that
and notice things that you
it-
didn't
Yeah, right.
previously notice.
I don't know why they have to worry about it saying Tacoma Park Bank, because it's, I've been to plenty of old cities where they still had their old names, but then the new name was there, and they didn't
Right.
hide or anything, and, another thing we want to be careful of, any kind of installation, we don't want it damaging the building either, so individual letters might cause a lot of damage going into the side of,
So another note
that-
could be that we'd like to see installation alignment with the existing installation.
Yeah.
So
Right,
no
because
additional.
they already have individual
Yeah,
letters.
Right.
That's a good point.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that sounds,
Or repair, if it comes to that,
Mhm.
so.
So, may I read this, sort of put this together and read this back as something that the board could consider voting on? That the board, let me just fill it in, votes to disapprove the signage application and would like to see something of historically appropriate materials, more monochromatic,
More examples of what have been done
Hold
for
on.
other, sorry.
What do we want to say about the lighting? I have some amount of lighting. Do we want to, some,
I mean, I just think that we need to have a soft lighting temperature. You know how you can have 5,000 down to 1,600 or something.
Really soft.
so okay, so historically appropriate materials, more monochromatic, soft lighting temperature. Does that,
Right. A warmer lighting temperature, I guess, is the appropriate word.
okay.
Weren't we not in support of backlit signs in Takoma
This isn't a
Park?
backlit sign. A
Oh.
backlit sign is the box with
Oh.
the whole thing's lit up. And
Oh.
this is the channel lighting.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I
it's,
introduced that backlit framing, which,
It-
yes, I understand, yeah.
And I think a
right.
backlit sign would not be
That's
approved
a
at the
different-
county
yeah.
either.
Mhm.
I don't think
So
they
you
would
don't-
see that as
this would not be
appropriate.
considered a backlit sign.
I don't think so. From I mean, you probably know
No,
more
they're-
about the signage than I do.
It's not backlit.
Sorry?
It's not backlit.
It's not backlit. Yeah, I think it's not the definition.
Okay.
And then I have the the point of that the installation would align with the existing location of the signs. Is that accurate? The existing.
What would be the, that, that the installation, reuse existing, essentially holes, I mean, reuse
points.
existing alterations to the stone? Like, that
Yeah.
they're not making more holes in the stone, would be the goal.
Holes in the stone. Is that possible, Monica? Because these are all cap letters now, and and currently they have upper and lower case. Is that?
Although it'll be in all caps, I think they could place where they will install in the
Okay.
holes, like where you want it, so you don't have to make new holes.
Okay. That sounds great.
And then, do we want to ask that the white backing be removed?
I mean, I actually sort
Or
of
do you
think
have-
the rectangular box improve, I mean, maybe without the lighting, it aligns to the architecture of the building in a way that I find the traced letters extruded looks kind of funny.
What you
So
call
we-
it, cabinet?
The
It's a
cabinet, yeah,
cabinet,
that's
yep.
what she called it. Okay. So
But-
we can leave that.
But if
up.
others feel differently, that doesn't have to be the final say.
And then my last specific would be to reveal the original sign Takoma Park Bank on the front elevation.
Yes.
So that's on Carroll. And
Right.
then, so I have those 5 specific points, and then we can ask for examples
Yes.
of what has been done elsewhere in historic districts and how can they modify it.
Yes, we'd
My-
like to see examples. It might become very clear of some wonderful examples they've done elsewhere.
My concern is that they move forward to HPC and HPC may approve it. So I want to make sure we get in specific asks of the previous points before we get to the examples, because that implies they're coming back to us again.
Right.
And we don't know that yet.
Right.
So,
Right.
does that cover it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So we just need a move second
Yeah.
vote.
I'm not sure I'm happy about any kind of lighting, but I will reserve that for seeing that it's not, as Marty is saying, kind of soft, and it's not. It's a very elegant building. It was designed, it takes from the classical period. I mean, the sign should reflect that to some extent, and I don't know how yet, but I'm sure this is not insurmountable, and that they probably have done it in a few places, and it would be really nice for them to do it here.
Mm.
Agreed. So does someone, would someone like to second, or do we have additional points to add?
No.
I thought it was a
Did you move
comprehensive
it?
list.
Did you move it?
I moved it,
You did?
yeah.
Okay, sorry, I missed that.
No, I just originally, so.
Okay.
Sorry, it wouldn't, just at the start of that, I
Yeah.
can say it again,
That's
if
good.
that helps.
In a second? Do we have a second?
So just for process, someone has to second it if we,
I'll
if we
second
want to
it.
vote on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
second it.
Okay. And then call a vote.
Okay, so call a vote to order, all in favor?
Yep,
Aye.
great.
Any nays?
Okay.
All right.
So Monica, just so you know, I will do a letter
Okay.
and I will send it to the historic preservation staff at the county, and I'll send you a copy as well.
Okay.
And it becomes part of the materials for the review on the 18th.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question for you. Have they ever showed their logo in just a monogram, like all blue or all red
Or
or
black, or.
They can, yes.
or all black or
Black?
something?
Could they
That's
All
what I've
black.
seen.
I'm sure.
I think I have seen all black or all white
All
I
black or
think
all
you've
white.
seen all
Yeah,
black or all white.
in DC, I believe. Yes.
right. I just think that would be interesting to see.
Thank you.
It would be interesting to see,
Yeah.
yeah. I think the building is worth seeing it, yeah.
Okay. All right,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so I guess we'll just go on to old business.
So I'm done.
7A, follow-up on presentation on Montgomery County Historic Area work by Rebecca Fallow and Historic Preservation Program Supervisor Dan Brucher and Senior Planner.
Yeah.
So, what's that letter that's in here somewhere?
Is it this one?
Okay, so, I don't,
So I just wondered if there was any feedback or corrections you all needed. If you think it's ready, then I'll go ahead and send it on to the county staff.
This is one edit, but in the last paragraph, unless I'm missing it, there are 3 quotation marks. So I'm not sure if the
Yeah.
one by authority,
Yeah, I need another one. I think it's a quote within a quote.
that's,
so-
okay, that's what I was
yeah.
guessing.
Yep, thank you.
but,
So let's make that one.
I think the only thing we talked about that I don't see here, and again, let me know if I'm just missing it, was a reiteration of our process in relation to the HPCs. I know it's not part of the regulation they're approving, but I think we had talked about the value of restating that relationship since it's not particularly
you're
well
right.
documented.
Okay,
So, and just to make sure we're all on the same page, I think the intent was that we would continue to operate the same way we have been, which is that we would see every application, even the ones that fall in their fast-tracked version of the county process, those would still be fast-tracked at the county, but we would still plan to review them.
right. So
But
did
it-
you want to add that under the recommended
I
action?
will,
Okay.
yeah. I'll add it
Great,
as a-
perfect,
thank
yeah,
you.
I wasn't sure where that belonged,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but.
Yep, thank you. And I also think that, presuming that this goes into effect, we can see how it looks to us. And
Mhm.
after a year or something, review and see what we think on the ones that are approved administratively without
Yeah.
the commission looking at it. We feel
Yeah,
like
actually, it'd be
that's-
helpful to hear that kind of recap at year end is sort of, because we won't necessarily know as they come through,
Right.
but sort of a reassessment of how things ended
Mhm.
at a year out sounds helpful.
So we kind of had an example of that where we just decided not to see a hop, right? We looked at it together. Lucy, you called it out. You looked at it first. You said,
This
we
is
Right,
need to
the-
see this.
Electric
And that was
charging
great.
station, solar
That was
panels.
great, yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Right, and there's no concern with that being by email. I mean, I was fine with it, but I know there's some balance of like,
Right, I think had we
things we had
been
to-
doing an approval or an approval with conditions.
Right.
We would have needed to convene, because of the open meeting laws, we would have
Right.
needed to have that vote. Since we were electing to not take action.
right.
right,
I
That makes
think
sense, okay.
That might be, I should probably double
Okay.
check that to be
Makes
sure.
sense.
right.
I just
We
know
were
you flagged that
comfortable
before
enough
for-
with it to not take action,
Mhm.
yeah.
Right.
So I have a question. Do we find out what happens to the projects that we look at here? I mean, do we get feedback from the county or?
Not directly. That would be nice
Directly.
if that happened.
But you can follow it.
They are all posted on the county website, and
Okay.
I'll try and get in the habit of circulating back to the board projects that we've looked at and what happens next.
Yeah, that could help improve our own analysis, is having a sense of how
Right.
things end up. Not, I mean, maybe
Right.
improve isn't the right word, but educate ourselves. And I know for myself, like having a sense of how the county evaluates things could help,
Some closure.
particularly with things where I could kind of see it going either way. And I mean, but at the same time, like we bring the eye of Takoma Park, so it's not like we need to be in line with how the county reviews things. But that does sound useful to
It sounds like it
understand,
would
so
be
we're not
useful.
Right.
We
spinning
could-
our wheels or missing things that we could be thinking about and weighing in on.
We could also ask one of the HPC staff people to come once a year or something, or come after a particularly messy or difficult review, and just kind of talk us through how they saw it, and we get a chance to explain how we saw it, see if that would be helpful.
Yeah. I think it'd be great to have someone from the county come. I know ages ago we had Scott Whipple, who's not there anymore. I guess Rebecca
Right.
is in his
Rebecca's
position
in
now.
his position, yeah.
And that was helpful, but it's been a while and
Mhm.
we've had turnover and
Yeah.
I mean, as a new board person, I would love to have them come and tell us,
How they do.
what is the why.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
How they do it. Yeah.
So do we need to vote to approve this letter or?
That would be helpful for me,
Okay.
just so I can
Second.
say, the board
Yeah, no, fair
said
enough.
this.
Yeah.
Are there any other additions?
No.
Okay.
So I move that we vote to approve this letter with the addition about our process. And was there anything else that, I think that was the only piece we were adding.
Yeah.
Okay,
Seconded.
so all
All in favor?
I,
great.
That was it.
Well-
Sorry, I missed.
Oh, it was all of us,
All in
yes.
favor.
Sorry, I was
Fair.
looking down. Okay. Okay.
You're not gonna go back and watch us on tape?
I have at
Relive
times
every
to make
moment?
sure I got it right. Okay. So I will send that tomorrow as well.
Great.
All right,
Cool. All right, new business.
cool.
Nothing.
I think we're good.
I think we're good. All right, so we'll go ahead and adjourn our meeting. It's
Great.
7:32.
Good
So
timing.
we'll see Bank of America
Very
next
efficient.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.